Once upon a time in a quaint little neighborhood lived a very curious tabby cat named Whiskers. Now, Whiskers was no ordinary cat. He was known for his adventurous spirit and his knack for finding things that didn't belong to him, like this box of old love letters. Whiskers had always been intrigued by the human habit of writing letters, but he'd never come across any that were addressed to him. So when he discovered a hidden box filled with faded love letters tucked away in an antique desk at the local thrift store, he knew he had to do something about it. You see, the letters were addressed to people still living in the neighborhood, and Whiskers, being the friendly cat that he was, wanted to make sure they got to their recipients. The only problem was he wasn't sure how to deliver them without getting caught. As a cat, his instincts told him that sneaking into people's homes was not a good idea. But as a lover of romance, he couldn't bear the thought of these heartfelt messages going unread. So he came up with a plan. Whiskers began his mission by visiting the first address on the list. He stealthily approached the house, keeping a close eye out for any signs of danger. Once he was sure he wasn't seen, he slipped inside and left a love letter on the doorstep before making his escape. He repeated this process for every letter on his list, dropping them off at their respective addresses and leaving town before anyone noticed the connection between the love letters and the mysterious feline. But what happened next was beyond Whiskers' wildest imagination. As the days went by, he watched from afar as the residents began receiving the love letters. Some of them were so moved by the romantic gestures that they started dating. Others even rekindled old romances that had fizzled out over time. Whiskers felt a sense of pride knowing that he had played a part in bringing love back into their lives. But he also couldn't help but feel a little lonely. He had helped so many other cats find their happily ever after. But what about him? Well, as it turns out, one of the love letters was for a woman who had recently moved into the neighborhood. She had no idea that her old flame was living just down the street from her. And when she received his love letter, she was so touched that she decided to look him up. It wasn't long before she was sitting on Whiskers' doorstep with a box of his favorite treats. From that day forward, Whiskers knew that he wasn't just a stray cat looking for love. He was a love cat, and his work was just beginning. And so the tale of Whiskers, the cat who delivered love letters, became a legend in the neighborhood. A reminder that sometimes all it takes is one small act of kindness to change someone's life forever. The end. This is the story of a cat who delivered love letters. Once upon a time in the kingdom far, far away, there was a very curious tabby cat. Now, this cat was no ordinary feline. Oh no, his name was Chester, and he was convinced he was, in fact, a dog. Every morning, Chester would wake up with the sun and immediately set about his day's work. First, he'd visit the bakery and politely ask. There once was a cat who lived with an old woman in a little house by the sea. The cat was a tabby and was very curious. And one day the tabby found a box of old love letters hidden in the attic. Now, the thing about love letters is that they're never really meant to be read by anyone other than the people involved. But this tabby didn't know that. He just thought they were very pretty pieces of paper with nice smells on them. So he started taking the letters out of the box and putting them in his mouth. Then he would go to the neighbors' houses and stick them in their mailboxes. The first letter was addressed to a young woman named Sarah. So the tabby went to her house and stuck it in her mailbox. A few days later, The tabby saw Sarah outside and she was smiling. She was holding a bouquet of flowers and was just in a wonderful mood. The tabby rubbed against her legs and purred, and she scratched him behind the ears and said, "You're a good boy, aren't you? You brought me these lovely flowers." She opened the letter and gasped. "Oh, wow," she said. "I had completely forgotten about this." You see, the letter was from a former flame of hers, a handsome young man named Tom, who had written it 10 years ago. And the tabby just sat there looking at her, proud as punch, thinking, "Well, here goes another successful delivery." Little did he know that Tom had actually moved away after Sarah had rejected him all those years ago. But when he got the letter, he was so happy that he had written it. He wrote back immediately and asked if he could take her out for coffee, and she said yes. After that, the tabby continued his mission. He delivered a letter to an old married couple who had been fighting a lot. The letter was from the wife to her husband, and it was full of loving words and endearments. After reading it, the husband broke down and cried. "Oh, my darling," he said, "I had no idea you felt this way about me." And they hugged each other and made up right then and there. The tabby watched them, pleased with himself, until they started chasing him around the garden with the intent of giving him some much-needed scratches. As the weeks went by, the tabby continued to deliver love letters, and each time he did, it was like magic. He helped old flames to rekindle their romance, and even helped some people to fall in love for the first time. People often wondered if there was some kind of love potion or something in the letters, but they couldn't quite put their paws on it. All they knew was that they felt a whole lot better after reading them, and the tabby was happy to help. After all, that's what cats are for.